We're here to unpack compelling ideas and really distill actionable insights from the sources you share with us.
That's the goal.
And today, we're diving into a really interesting white paper by Brent Seaman. It's called Same Problems, Different Decisions, Why Successful People Choose Different Solutions.
Hmm.
And look, for you folks looking for a new way to do life, maybe figure out how to get unstuck in, well, any area of life, or if you just need a new perspective on your current situation, we think this can really help.
Yeah, there's a lot here.
We can assist you with all these things. You can check us out at www.getwisdom.cc. I'm Miranda.
And I'm Jay. We'll be taking you through this white paper today by Brent Seaman. Our goal is definitely to provide you with those actionable insights.
So the mission today is clear. Equip you with a fresh perspective, some concrete steps to navigate challenges, get unstuck, and, build a new way forward.
Right. And what jumps out right away in Seaman's executive summary is its honesty. It's pretty blunt.
Oh yeah, how so?
It says successful people aren't like magically immune to problems, they just handle them differently. The paper talks about installing what it calls a pragmatic OS.
An operating system. For life.
Sort of, yeah. Like upgrading your internal software for how you deal with things. It focuses on three main things. First, surfacing your operating assumptions.
Okay, what are those exactly?
They're the, often unspoken beliefs that kind of secretly drive your choices. Second, really aligning your rhetoric, what you say, with your evidence, what actually happens. Your words and actions have to match up.
Got it. No more just talk.
Exactly. And third, deliberately changing your rooms, your environment, the people you're around. The promise is a measurable shift from what he calls victim logic. Yeah, to real proactive agency. And there are clear objectives, a roadmap. It even has this pretty stark house maxim.
Oh, let's hear it.
If one fails to fulfill on a task, it's only because they lack the courage to undertake such a task.
Wow, okay, that definitely doesn't pull any punches, does it? It sets a tone of radical personal responsibility right away.
It really does. Puts the onus right on you.
So let's unpack this pragmatic OS a bit more. What are the foundational operating principles guiding this whole approach? How do you actually make better decisions consistently?
Absolutely. So the paper lays out 5 core principles. Think of these as the bedrock. First up, discovery over certainty.
Discovery over certainty.
That means you start clinging to what you think is true. Instead, you're constantly testing your beliefs against, actual real-world results. It's kind of like applying the scientific method to your own life. Keep observing what really works.
That sounds challenging. Our brains love to confirm what we already believe, right? So real discovery feels like a muscle you have to actively build.
Precisely. It takes deliberate effort.
Yeah.
The second principle is intention over optics.
Intention over optics.
Yeah. Evidence trumps what he calls performance theater. It's not about looking good or sounding smart. It's about what you actually do and the results you get. Plain and simple.
Okay, substance over style. Makes sense. What's third?
Third, transformation over rearrangement. This isn't about just, shuffling the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Right, not just moving problems around.
Exactly. It's about fundamental structural improvements. Things that genuinely raise your floor, your baseline standard, not just superficial tweaks.
Okay, raising the whole standard. I like that. Number 4.
Fourth, rhetoric shapes reality. The language you use, how you talk about your situation, yourself, your challenges, it directly influences your actions and how you see things. If you change your story, you start to change the outcome.
Words have power. Got it. And the last one.
And finally, number 5, consistency beats intensity. This one was huge. Small, often kind of boring, but consistently repeated actions. They're far more powerful long-term than, say, these big sporadic bursts of intense effort you can't keep up.
Small, boring, repeated. I love that phrase. It's such a counter-narrative to the whole quick fix culture we live in, isn't it?
Totally.
It suggests success isn't some magic trick. It's about cultivating a specific decision pattern. The paper gives these really simple, everyday examples, like budgeting before the impulse buy, or having the tough conversation before just canceling plans, or learning something before just lashing out.
Tiny choices, right?
Tiny choices, but they add up. It really hammers home that advice. Copy the decisions, not the Instagram. Don't just look at the shiny result. Understand the disciplined, often pretty unglamorous decisions that got someone there.
Yeah, absolutely. And building on that, the paper goes into this really sharp section on truth and identity.
Okay, intriguing.
It argues that sometimes, for us, the truth can get, well, expensive.
Expensive how? Like, emotionally.
Exactly. It happens when reality clashes with the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, our group, our way of doing things. For a lot of people, loyalty to the story actually overrides loyalty to reality.
Ouch, that's a tough pill to swallow.
It really is. And the core message here is stark. If your receipts, your actual verifiable evidence of what's happening, and your rhetoric, what you say or believe, don't match up, you have to trust the receipts. No hesitation. And then it's just your story.
Believe your receipts, not your slogans. Wow. Okay. But we love our stories, even the ones holding us back. This leads into that concept of direct seeking, right?
Right. Direct seeking. It just means actively interrogating reality yourself. Yes, learn from others, borrow wisdom, but the paper strongly advises verifying everything. Treat every claim, even your own deepest beliefs, like a hypothesis that needs evidence.
So be your own scientist. Test everything. That's humbling.
It is, and it leads to the question, if our beliefs are so powerful, how do we even spot them? Especially the hidden ones. The paper calls these operating assumptions. They're like the hidden code quietly running our decisions in the background.
Like invisible rules.
Yeah.
So how do you find them?
Well, one way is to look for unintended consequences in your life, good or bad. What keeps happening that you didn't explicitly plan for? That can point to an underlying assumption. Another powerful way is just to write out the sentences you actually live by.
Like mantras.
Kinda, yeah, but maybe ones you don't even realize you have. The paper gives examples like conflict is dangerous, or maybe money is scarce, or my value comes from getting approval.
Right. Making the implicit explicit. It's like seeing the source code for your own behavior.
Exactly. And once you surface these assumptions, the next critical step, the paper stresses, is to test them. Don't just accept them because they feel familiar. Put them on trial in the real world. That's where discovery over certainty really kicks in.
Test your code. Okay.
And this flows right into the next big distinction. Victim logic versus agency. If you crown circumstance king, as the paper puts it, well, you basically make yourself a passive subject of whatever life throws at you.
You're just reacting, basically.
Yeah.
At the mercy of things.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which, as you said, feels pretty stuck. Because if circumstance is boss, you have no control.
Yeah. Nobody wants to live like that. So agency is the alternative path, the empowering one.
Precisely. Agency isn't about pretending constraints don't exist. Life's full of constraints, right?
is.
It's about recognizing your power to make better choices within those constraints. The key shift is replacing blame narratives with choice narratives. So you stop asking, why me? Or whose fault is this?
And start asking.
You pivot to two really powerful questions. What is mine to do next? And crucially, what artifact proves it?
Artifact. Like proof.
Exactly. Observable proof.
Mm-hmm.
This shifts you from being passive to active. Focus on something real, something verifiable you can actually do.
Okay, so we have these principles, we're surfacing assumptions, we're shifting to agency, but how do we actually make these new ways stick? How do we embed them? This brings us to proximity power, right?
Yes, proximity power. This is a really transformative idea in the paper. It argues very strongly that rooms set your floor.
Rooms set your floor, meaning your environment dictates your minimum standard.
You got it. The environments you're in, and maybe even more importantly, the people you consistently hang around, they profoundly shape you, often unconsciously. We just start copying the choices, the habits, even the unspoken standards of those around us.
That's kind of scary when you think about it. We just absorb things.
We do. The paper really emphasizes that unconscious copying, which is why it says changing your rooms, deliberately choosing who you spend time with, is absolutely crucial if you want to raise your standards.
So be intentional about who you're around.
Very intentional. The advice is to seek out and be near operators,
Yeah.
people who embody what you aspire to, people who are relentlessly seeking truth, who welcome hard feedback, who aren't afraid of difficult conversations, and critically, people who ship artifacts.
There's that word again, artifacts. What does it mean in this context? Tangible results.
Exactly. Observable proof. Things like a budget line item you created, a calendar block you scheduled and honored, an email you actually sent, a prototype you built, something real, not just talk. The paper argues that proximity literally rewires what normal looks like for you.
So being around people operating at a higher level recalibrates your own internal benchmark. Makes sense.
Yeah, it changes what feels acceptable and what feels possible, often without you even realizing it's happening.
Okay, this framework is incredibly robust in theory, but how does this translate into action for someone listening right now thinking, okay, I want to do this. This isn't just abstract stuff, right?
Not at all. The white paper is very focused on action. It provides a clear roadmap, starting with what it calls the objectives architecture. Basically, how to put this whole playbook into operation in your life.
Okay, let's hear it. How do you operationalize this?
It lays out 4 specific, measurable 30-day objectives to get you started, like really concrete stuff. Objective A is truth hygiene.
Truth hygiene sounds intense.
It is, kind of. It challenges you to run a weekly receipts versus rhetoric audit. Look at where what you say you value or believe doesn't match your actual actions or results. And then, this is key, publish one correction. Make it public, even if just to yourself or an accountability partner.
Wow. Okay. That forces honesty. What's next?
Objective B is the assumption lab. Here, the goal is to identify at least 10 of your hidden operating assumptions, those invisible rules we talked about, and then design one simple real-world test for just one of them within the 30 days.
So actively poking at your own beliefs. I like it. Objective C.
Objective C is proximity upgrade. This one asks you to schedule 6 conversations with people the paper calls operators 2 ladders up from you.
People who are significantly ahead of you in an area you want to improve in.
Exactly. People achieving what you want to achieve. Have those conversations and then summarize the key lessons you learned from them. It's about actively seeking out better models.
Okay, and then there's a fourth one?
Yes, Objective D, decision replication. This involves modeling one successful person's decision-making process in a specific area, and then importantly shipping 4 related artifacts. Again, observable proof.
So it's not just about understanding how they decide, but actually doing something based on that model and having proof.
Precisely. If it's not observable, the paper basically says it's not real.
Okay, those objectives are concrete. And the paper helps structure the how of decisions too, right? With that decision mechanics chain.
Yeah, it breaks down the process. First, identify the real constraint, what's actually stopping you. Then, brainstorm your options. Then, do some quick value math, which option offers the best return for the effort or risk. Then, design a small reversible test. Try something low stakes. If that test gives you good data,
Then you scale with a proof.
you got it. It's a methodical way to move forward instead of just guessing or getting paralyzed.
And this isn't just for big life decisions, is it? It seems like it applies daily.
Absolutely. It's broken down into a daily task plan for that small, consistent action we talked about. It starts with a morning primer, just 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay, doable.
You state an identity line like, I'm someone who faces hard truths, plus 3 tiny tasks for the day. 1 focused on truth, 1 on proximity, 1 on shipping and artifacts.
Setting the intention. What else?
Then midday, there's a midday reset, only takes 60 seconds. You just ask yourself, what would the operator I'm modeling do right now? And then do the smallest possible brave task related to that. Just 1 small action to keep momentum.
I love that. Smallest brave task. It lowers the bar to action.
Exactly. Prevents getting overwhelmed or procrastinating. And then in the evening, an evening AAR after action review. Another 3 minutes.
What happens there?
You note a significant event from the day, pull out a 1-line lesson, identify the very next task based on that lesson at the deadline, and link to any artifact you created. Proof again.
It's very focused on closing the loop and learning. What if you just don't do a task? If you get stuck?
Yes. The paper has a built-in courage check for that. If a task stalls, the instruction is, have the dose, execute now. Make it even smaller, do it immediately. No excuses. Then link the artifact.
Have the dose, execute now. Simple but powerful. Don't let perfection stop you.
That's the idea. Just do something.
The paper also gives tools for tracking, right? Like scorecards.
Yeah, simple scorecards for daily self-assessment. You rate yourself 1 to 5 on truth, assumptions, proximity, artifacts, and integrity. It helps you see trends. Notice where your OS needs debugging, basically. It even gives benchmarks. Below 3.0 is fragile, 3.0, 4.0 is forming. Above 4.0 means you're compounding progress.
It really lets you see the upgrade happening. And this builds into a longer-term roadmap.
Yep, a 30-60 objective roadmap. Days 0-30 are about doing those initial audits, listing assumptions, making proximity calls. Days 31-60 are about raising your standards, expanding your tests, publishing proof notes, maybe adding a new high-standard room.
Building on the foundation.
Right. And days 61-90 are about scale. Systemizing the decision patterns that work, maybe finding formal mentorship, teaching someone else, automating good habits. It's a whole cycle of transformation.
It's incredibly thorough. But I can imagine people having questions as they try to implement this. Does the paper address common sticking points?
It does, yeah. It has a helpful FAQ section. For example, people often ask, isn't truth subjective?
Yeah, that's a common one. What's the answer?
The paper's take is very pragmatic. Interpretations might vary, sure, but outcomes don't lie. So track the outcomes of your actions and decisions. Use that hard evidence to upgrade your interpretation of the truth. Results first.
Focus on what actually happens. Okay, what about dealing with your existing circle? What if they resist these changes?
Another big one. The advice is really clear. Add rooms. Don't fight rooms. Proximity beats persuasion, meaning don't waste energy trying to convince people who aren't ready or willing to change with you. Instead, focus your energy on finding and adding new environments, new people, new rooms that align with the standards you're aiming for. Let that proximity pull you forward.
That makes sense. Don't push, just add. Okay, one more. What if I just fail to do a task? Like, the courage check doesn't work, I just freeze.
Yeah, it happens. The paper circles back to that core idea. Courage check. Have the dose. Execute now. Link the artifact. The emphasis is always on reducing the barrier to action until it's almost impossible not to do it. Then do it right away. Make it observable. It's about building the muscle of execution, even when it's tiny.
It really feels like a profoundly practical, maybe even bracingly honest framework for getting unstuck and making real lasting
I
changes.
think so. It's demanding, but it's clear.
It all comes back to that powerful closing thought in the paper you mentioned earlier. Same storm, different seamanship. It really hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Life throws storms at all of us, but our ability to navigate our seamanship, that's what we can control. That's what makes the difference. It's about choosing better decisions, actively changing your environment, your rooms, and just letting those small, brave, consistent tasks compound.
Evidence over theater. That seems to be the bottom line.
Evidence over theater, always. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope these actionable insights from Brent Seaman's white paper help you get unstuck and gain that new perspective.
And if you want to learn more or get personalized assistance with this, you can contact Brett Zeman directly. His number is 972-301-2878.
That's 972-301-2878.
Or you can email him at getwisdomprinciple@gmail.com.
And please do check out our sponsors. You can find them at www.getwisdom.cc sponsors. They help make this possible.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you tomorrow right here on the Get Wisdom podcast.